Hello guys, welcome to a Sims 4 room build, although kind of not a room build, kind of a room build. It's gonna be one of those that's gonna go up as a room, but it's kind of 3 rooms, and in the build it has platforms, and so I marked them at different floors, but when I upload it as a room, those platforms are obviously gonna have to go away. I had this idea for kind of this like really outdated kitchen, and then I was like, well, for what I want to do, it has a pass between into a really outdated living room, and then I was like, but it's also got like an eat-in space. So I wanted to do that too. So what ended up happening is I built like 2/3 of a really outdated house, but I didn't want to do the exterior, I didn't want to do the bedrooms or anything like that. So room build. It was very kind of heavily inspired by some old pictures I found of like my grandma's old house that she had when I was little, when we all lived closer to the coast, and a little bit of like her new house. I say new house, the house she lives in now, it's the 1950s, and it has sort of this kind of interesting pass through onto a lower level. And so this was kind of inspired by that. As well as, like, I've just been watching, like, a lot of Brady Bunch and stuff lately. I don't really super know why. It's just been on the TV. And originally, the reason I'm cutting this wall away is because I had thought it would be like a dollhouse. I had thought that would make the most sense because then it didn't have to be functional or anything like that. And so I started building it as a dollhouse, but then I kind of decided that I wanted to add too much to it and that I wanted to do too many different designs for it to be like a single dollhouse, and on top of it, like the way I wanted to do the kitchen wasn't going to work with the dollhouse because I needed to have a wall there, so it ended up just being a room build, which actually I think is better because it makes it much more play with the bowl for you guys. This should be going up on the gallery eventually. I'm having some internet issues right now, so I don't know what is going up. Like videos I can set to upload when I'm like working elsewhere. So like I can take it with me when I go find internet, or like I can even do it on my phone. But for some reason the gallery does not like my phone's hotspot, and it's not a huge, like this laptop, it's a beefy guy, and it's all hooked into a bunch of other nonsense that makes it basically about as unmovable as a desktop. So it's harder to get the gallery working. But I should have my internet issues resolved here shortly. Basically what has happened is a family of 5 has moved into my basement. There's a longer story to it than that. But all you need to know for right now is that a family of 5 has moved into my basement, and I keep explaining to them that my internet is not very strong and you cannot stream on it, and you cannot use all of my internet in one day every time it resets. But they're little and they don't quite understand that, and so I'm paying a lot of money to not use my internet right now, which is really annoying. I have started slowly like throttling them back a little bit, but they need it for school and stuff, and so I can't constantly be like, please don't use it, you know. So we're trying to figure out the boundaries here, but unfortunately it means that like I'm having to be the bigger person because I'm the adult. Anyways, I had a lot of fun building this this crazy house. The patterns, I struggled a little bit with trying to get, here I was trying to be sneaky. I was trying to still do the dollhouse, but like keep the walls up, and I kept thinking like because for the context here is I really wanted the lighting to be indoor lighting, but I wanted to do a dollhouse. So I wanted to knock the walls down still at this point, but I wanted the indoor lighting. The lighting felt really important, and I couldn't work it out. So that's another reason why it became a room build. But I struggled with the pattern, was what I was originally saying, because I really wanted like a kind of cringy 1970s pattern, which I think I got pretty close to here, although it's not that bad. But I wanted like a lot of the goldenrod, a lot of the like yellows, and you know, multiple kinds of brown. Because the fun fact here is that there's a lot of like 70s brown paneling in my house, the house that I live in, and I hate it. I don't hate our specific paneling. Like I've grown to love it. Like I don't walk into the room and go, gah, most of the time. I do live with 3 dogs. Let's be real. There's times where it comes out anyway. But I don't hate our paneling specifically, but in general I really hate dark paneling. And I have warned my family that if I ever was living by myself in this house, that the paneling would change immediately. But I don't hate it as much as I used to. It's not as intense a hatred as it used to be. But I don't like dark paneling. I love building goofy themed rooms though. And so my brother walked in at one point into this house, and he was like, "Why are you doing a house that if you walked into you would make a face?" And I was like, "Because it's fun to do in The Sims. I don't have to live here, you know." At first I was thinking, side note, with that couch flip of doing like a dual living space situation because this room is kind of long, but what I really had wanted to do was do like a reading nook space with like a chess table and stuff, so that's what I ended up doing, and I ended up making the space a little longer. The dimensions didn't quite work in my head the way they had here, so that's part of why I was struggling a little bit, and then I scooted everything in a touch and it completely ruined my built-in, which was lovely. It takes me a minute, but I get there. Does anyone else get more frustrated than having fun with the Disney Dreamlight Valley? Oh lord, the Dreamlight, no? Come on, brain. The dream home designer. There we go. The pack. I'm really tired. Can you tell? A lot of people live in my house now. It's always very loud. I don't get much sleep. No, the pack, the dream home decorator stuff with the built-ins that I was just using. I love the idea of them. They drive me, and I've been trying so much to use them more and get used to them, but they drive me bonkers because they don't click in the way that I want them to, which is nobody's fault but my own. But boy, I struggle with those sometimes. So I ended up trying to stay away from mid-mod a little bit, but still have it incorporated because obviously that is the style kind of more or less the previous era. It's still incorporated here a little bit, but so I wanted to have touches of it but still look like they were trying to be modern for the time. It's obviously really heinously outdated now, and it's really hard to do outdated in The Sims anyway, unless you're trying to do like early 2000s. The beginning of The Sims is very heavily dated now, but I digress. So it's kind of, you can kind of see where I was going with this, even if it's not like the best executed. And then I did make a tiny little TV, a little tube TV in there because the flat screen just didn't feel like the vibe. Like I felt if I put a flat screen in, then I was gonna have to be like, well, it's new people moving in and they're trying to make it better. And then I was like, well, how am I gonna show like that they're like mid renovation? And I didn't want to do that. I just wanted it to be dated. So tube TV it is, tiny tube TV, which I thought made sense for this build. And then lots, like I said, of like oranges and goldenrods and things like that to sort of really drill home that this house needed some updating. I think it'd be really fun to come back to this room in like 6 months or so and then be like, so we have this room. Let's see what we would do if we wanted to modernize it, and maybe even make the rule like you can't change anything, you can only change swatches or something like that. Or like you can only, like, you can change out the furniture that could be changed out, like dining tables and chairs, maybe the lamp fixture, but you can't change like where the stove is or where the fridge is necessarily, because those things are usually piped into a house, right? Because the fridge has water piped into it usually, and the stove has gas or electricity. Sink obviously has plumbing, that kind of thing. And so I was like, that'd be kind of fun. Like maybe like how would you refurb the built-in instead of just tearing it out? That would be really fun. We should think about that. I've been kind of thinking about doing some renovations on older builds anyways, because I built a cafe and a bookstore thing called the Book and Bean, like as the 3rd or 4th build on this channel, and I loved the Book and Bean. Still love the Book and Bean. However, I built it using an old trick to get split leveling before we had platforms, and literally, I'm not joking, a week after I uploaded that video, platforms came out. In fact, I think they announced platforms while I was finishing that build, but they weren't going to be out quite yet at that time. And at the time I didn't have, like, now I record sometimes a couple months in advance, as much as I can, so that I have a backlog. So like right now I'm recording this about 3 weeks before it'll go out, because I know this is the only time I'm going to have time to do this voiceover. But at the time I wasn't doing that. I was recording the week things were going out, and so I was like, I don't want to wait, I'm gonna have to do a whole nother build, I don't have time. So I put the Book and Bean out before the platforms came out. I think it'd be so fun to build the Book and Bean now with platforms. Do you like the grody carpet? I like the grody carpet. The tile hits a little too close to home because that's very similar to the actual tile in my kitchen. I thought about taking pictures of because I talk a lot about my house in this build. I thought about taking pictures, but other people live here and I don't know if they want their house all over the internet. We don't have we do have grody carpet in 1 room, in 2 rooms, in 3 rooms. We have grody carpet, but this was meant to be shag. We don't have shag. I meant it to look like shag. Fun fact, my grandma had bright pink shag carpeting in her house when I was little. It was so intently shag that you could not drive like a Hot Wheels car over the top of it. It was insane, and it was quite truly like Barbie pink, like just the hottest pink you can get. And then brown paneling on the walls. It was a cave. It's a media room in the back, but anyways, I've been talking for forever. I'm gonna go ahead and go and let you enjoy the rest of the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed this fun little tacky build that I completely indulged in having fun, and I hope you're feeling loved. I know that I love you. I hope you're having a great day, and I will talk to y'all later.